Okay, so that was the first of 3 floors. Lots of big systems here, and right now I'm going up to the 23rd floor and as well as the 24th floor. So up there are small rooms, standard sized hotel rooms as we can imagine, and we will see big speakers that look like and feel like they can potentially pressurize and blow down the walls, and small speakers punching above their weight in the loudness war. Either way, there are some really nice and interesting stuff coming up. First room on the 23rd floor are Audiomis and New Prime. Audiomis showcasing their Zebra Finish MC5 and MC4 bookshelf speakers driven by NuPrime integrated amplifiers and DACs. I bumped into the CEO of NuPrime here and he's on hand to explain more about his products. If you're interested, find the link in the description at the end of this video. Meanwhile, in this room, the sound is excitable and loud. In the next room, we see this very slick looking system. The highlight here are not the B&W 805D4 bookshelf speakers in signature finish. They look beautiful. The highlight here are these electronics from DL Audio Lab. This is the power amplifier. The model number is DL200E. As you can see, the LED lights on the front of the black base plate. And by the way, the base plate is part of the unit. It's not a separate stand. The white and the black is actually one whole piece, one unit. The unit in the center is the preamplifier, and the two on the sides are the power amplifiers. And the funny thing is that not much can be found about this brand, DL Audio Lab, on the internet. And if you can find anything about them, please put it in the comments. And the highlight in the next room are these white boxes again. They are network switches from Diva. The big one is EX7 and the small one is the EX Mini. And all that is in the back are Ethernet ports to plug in your LAN cables. I suppose they are here to make the music sound cleaner if you are streaming your music from the internet or your NAS, and let you hear the full potential of this Tannoy with its super tweeters. And that's exactly what I'm hearing in this room. Yep, super clean highs, vocals, and no muddiness in the mid and bottom end, while still being very soulful and warm with air. Beautiful speakers hooked up to esoteric network DAC preamp and power amplifier. And here, tiny speakers trying to punch above their weight. They can go loud. They are the Boenicke W5, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Boenicke W5. And yeah, they can go loud with the HIT Obelisk SI3 integrated amplifier and the Mytek Brooklyn Bridge streamer. And here they are, small and simple designs. The HIT Obelisk SI3 and Mytek Brooklyn Bridge. I've just finished visiting all the booths here on the 23rd floor on this section. There's another section over there. So I'm now going to the other side. This is one of the best sounding rooms. It's so relaxing, so soothing. So I sat in the middle seat, entered the sweet spot, slowly slouching into the chair. Didn't want to leave, but it also made me scratch my head. This is an integrated amplifier, but it's mono. And the knob on the front panel is a volume knob. So you need a pair of these, one for the left channel and one for the right channel. And you will need to adjust the volume independently because one knob is on the left and the other one is on the right. And there's no remote control. Can you imagine that? By the way, the speakers and CD player on duty here are from Laboratories. And I believe they contributed to the sound quality. Okay, this room has some very unusual looking speakers and power amplifiers. I believe these are power amplifiers, if I'm not mistaken. Very unusual looking. But the highlight in this room are twigs. Twigs like this. They are power noise reduction. I don't know what they are called. Noise eliminators. Okay, all these boxes. These are from Aura Sound. They include power noise reduction, line noise reduction, ground noise reduction. And this is an RF blocker from Connected Fidelity that connects across the terminals behind the speakers. And this Crystal E ground box from Kojo Technology that is connected to the negative terminal behind the speaker. Next are these GAIT speakers, short for GAIT. The sound tonality of these speakers, including the shape and the size, reminds me of modern shot MS-20i from back in the day. The drivers, the diaphragms are made of glass, as you can see on the labels. And the super tweeter, okay, is only 50 micrometers thick. How do they keep the concentricity of the diaphragms made out of glass and they are so thin? And on the rack is a turntable from Dual and a preamp and network streamer DAC from Mytek, and as well as a power amplifier and power conditioner from Casus. Borison enters the chat, but with the X3. These are the X3s, a floor standard with a ribbon tweeter, 1 mid-bass driver and 2 bass drivers, boasting a frequency response of 35 Hz to 50 kHz, sensitivity of 88 decibels, and an impedance of 4 ohms. It's gonna need a capable amplifier, but the recommended amplifier power is just 50 watts. So how do they sound? I've gotten acquainted with the Borison 01 bookshelves a few years back at another HiFi show. I have very high regards for the sound for Borison speakers since then, but I must say I'm not impressed by these. I'm not getting the wow factor from these. These are not making me emotional like what the 01s did to me. Okay, I'm done with the 23rd floor. Now I'm going to the 24th floor. First room on the 24th floor, I am greeted by these sporty, modern looking small speakers that sing with good clarity, and a planet looking thing on a rod in the center here. A number of planets on the rod. This is a hi-fi tweak as much as I understand what the presenter in the room is saying. It helps to keep the center image at pinpoint focus. At every hi-fi show we come across LS35 lookalikes. Do these look like LS35? Yes, they certainly do. Check out the wires sticking out of the tweeter and the square foam around the tweeter, and the recessed mid-range driver, and the staples around the edges of the front panel. Do they sound like LS35? Yes, somewhat. Do they project vocals like LS35? Yes, they do. And should I point out that the finishing on the cabinet is so beautiful? So, what kind of LS35 is this? What's the brand? I forgot to take a look at the back of the speakers. Do you know? Please let me know if you do. By the way, they are not GoalBon LS35 as stated on the backdrop. That's referring to the tube amp. Makes me wonder why they named this amp LS35. These are the Barefoot Micromain 26, if I'm not wrong. So many drivers on such a small cabinet. I'm skeptical when I see so many drivers on a small cabinet. But they do sound kind of good, smooth, big, and with good details. And doing a Google search, I realized they are active monitors for recording studio use. No wonder the details. And here in this showcase, they are plugged into the SoundAware D2 streamer and the DAM1 DAC right here. Next, I walk into what I thought sounded like a lecture by a grumpy university professor. He doesn't seem impressed by how the industry are measuring distortion, damping factor, and bandwidth. It sounded like it's not important to measure, or is it that he measures it differently with a more profound understanding? I'm not too sure. If you want to hear what he says, let me know in the comments and I'll post the full clip. And by the way, he is AudioNote founder Peter Vortrup.
All it does is change the way the fundamental is perceived by your hearing. Yeah. Do you understand?
And here's Colibri, very unusual looking speakers. It's an offshoot brand by Avangard. I'm familiar with Avangard, those big large horn speakers, but this is the first time I see Colibri. They say it's a smaller package they've newly created for more home users to enjoy. To me, they are still kind of big. I guess this is for people who like their things to look avant-garde, unusual, experimental. Back to more traditional boxes. Here's JBL and Arcam. You know what they say about JBL? They say it stands for junk but loud. I beg to differ in this room though. Sounds pretty nice. I guess the equipment, pairing and choice of music play a part too. Or is it because of room acoustics, or because my ears are losing sensitivity from all the pounding from some of the previous rooms? Anyway, I think they are doing a pretty good job here. The high is extended but not piercing. The mid is soulful and the low warm. And by the way, the highlight here are the Arcam Radial series. CD5 and integrated amplifier, I believe, is A5, A15 or A25. Next room are SB acoustic speakers and Inuus Zenith NG server streamer. Wow, that's a mouthful. SB Acoustics is an Indonesian company and they are made in Indonesia. Everyone in the room was surprised to hear that. And the driver looks familiar. I wonder if they are the same ones that Borison use. Is it just a checkered pattern, or is it the material are the same? I wonder. What's also strange about these speakers is that, as I understand from their website, they are DIY assembled. They ship the kit to you and you assemble the parts yourself. This is the second last room, an interesting one. The speakers look like another one of those that are trying to be a LS35, 58, 59 or the likes. Pretty sure the front baffle is contributing to the tonality. They sound good. Good fat bottom end with details. Nice soulful vocals, good air, good details, smooth sound. Very good overall. Driven by this Celia and Perah all in one box. The case is made of concrete. Very special. Very nice minimalist look and feel. It's an amplifier, DAC inside, has its own app to play from a NAS and major music streaming platforms. It's very simple and small, and it's a great pair up with the speakers in the room, Median S51. Yep, very good pair up in terms of look and sound. Final room, last but not least obviously, these are ATCs that make recording studio speakers and also speakers dedicated to home audio. I believe these are the SCM50SE Special Edition. Super power speakers, very capable of pressurizing any given space and giving a hair-raising experience. I'm saying this not because of what I hear in this room, but in general. ATC speakers are not for the faint of heart. From my experience, people who play ATC like to play it to the extreme. In this room, however, it's still within mindful limits. Pretty pressurized, but still within mindful limits. This is a sound for those who like some bite with their transients and having texture, depth and fullness. Okay, so that concludes the walk around 3 floors high-end Asia at Pan Pacific in Singapore. I'll see you in the next video. See you.